having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on shades of meaning. So we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on shades of meaning. And before we start with our lesson, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca, with your username as well as your password, and then you're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 3, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of shades of meaning. So our chapter is shades of meaning. Our subject is English language arts, grade 3. And the lessons that we're going to be focusing on under the chapter of shades of meaning is to describe the difference between related words, as well as positive and negative connotation. So that is going to be our lessons for today. So some words, right, are alike, but they have like small differences in meaning, right? And that is why we call it shades of meaning. So we said some words are alike, but they like have small differences in meanings. And these differences we call shades of meaning. And if we look at an example, right? For example, think about words. If we think of the words stare, peek, and glare, right? So if we look at the words stare, peek, and glare, stare, peek, and glare, right? Basically, all of these three words, it means to look at something, but to stare, peek, and glare is to look at something in different ways. So stare, peek, and glare, right, are basically all of them means to look at something, but it basically means to look at something in different ways. And if we look at the word stare, right? Stare means to look at something for a while. It's like you are staring at something. So you basically look at that specific thing for quite some time. You look at it for a while. That is to stare. It's like if somebody just looks at you from a distance and you eventually ask, like, why are you staring at me? Right? Because they are looking at you for quite some time. And then to peek, right? And peek is to look at something quickly, right? You're not going to stare at it for a very long time. You're just going to quickly look at it. That is peek. And then we have the word glare. Glare is to look at something in an angry way. So glare is to look at something in an angry way. So basically, the words stare, peek, and glare, all three of these words, it means to look at something, but it means to look at something in different ways. Because we said stare is to look at something for a while, peek is to look at something quickly, and glare is to look at something in an angry way. Right? So when it comes to shades of meaning, right, it just means that we have some of the words that are alike, but the words that are alike, they have small differences in meaning. And these differences in meaning, right, or the small differences in meanings, we call them shades of meaning. And then we have connotation, right? And you can either have negative connotation or you can have positive connotation. So when it comes to connotation, connotation is the feeling or idea that goes along with a word or a phrase. So connotation, it's either a feeling or an idea that goes along with a word or it goes with a phrase. And then some of the words, right, are very close in meaning, but some have different connotations. So connotation is the feeling or idea that goes along with the word or it goes along with the phrase. And some words are very close in meaning, but they have different connotations. For example, think about the words eager and impatient. So when it comes to connotation, right, if you look at an example, it says, think about the words eager and impatient. Both of these words, which is eager as well as impatience, both mean wanting something to happen. So both of them means that they want something to happen. But when it comes to eager and impatient, they have different connotations. So when it comes to eager, right? Eager has a positive connotation. So we said eager has a positive connotation. It is a very nice word. And when it comes to an eager person, right, an eager person is happy and excited. So we said eager has a positive connotation, right? Because it has got a very nice word. And an eager person is very happy and the person is excited. And then we have impatient. And impatient has a negative connotation. See, this is where connotations come in, and you get positive connotation and you get negative connotation. So impatient has a negative connotation, which means that it is not a nice word. And an impatient person is often very pushy and very demanding. So we said an impatient person or impatient has negative connotation. It's not a nice word. And an impatient person is often very pushy and very demanding. An impatient person, right, has more negative connotation or has a more negative connotation. Whereas an impatient person also is often rude, it's pushy, or it is demanding. On the other hand, an eager person is excited and very happy. All right. So we said that when it comes to connotation, you can have a negative connotation and you can have a positive connotation. All right. Remember, when it comes to connotations, anything that is positive is good, anything that is negative is not good. So we spoke about eager and we spoke about impatient. And we says eager has a positive connotation because it's got a very nice word. Because an eager person is always happy and an eager person is excited. Whereas we have a impatient person, right, which has a negative connotation. And an impatient person is often very pushy and demanding. All right. So we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. Right? All right. So now we're going to our aplusstudents.ca. And it said that we're doing shades of meaning. And the first one is to describe the difference between related words. So we said some words are alike, right? So we said some words are alike, but they have very small differences in meaning. And we said those words are called shades of meanings. And then we made an example of stare, peek, and glare. And we said staring is to look at something for a while, peek is to look at something quickly, and glare is to look at something in an angry way, right? All right. And remember, when it comes to shades of meaning, right, we said that sometimes the words they are like kind of the same, but all of the meanings are also different, right? So now, if we look at the first question, it wants to know which one is larger. So which one is larger between a river and a dam? A river and a dam. All right. Remember, when it comes to also shades of meaning, right? We can have words that basically have like similar or the same meanings, right? But it means also, it's like something would kind of mean the same, but it will also mean that it can mean the same, but in different ways, right? Can be different ways. Let's go to our test. So now we're going to begin our test. Which is something you win? Which is something you win? So, which is something you win? Do you win a prize or do you win a gift? Something that you win. Do you win a prize or do you win a gift? So, which is something you win? And we said a prize is something you win. And a prize is correct. So, well done. A prize is something that you win. Which can be hard. So, what or which can be hard? So, which can be hard? Is it something smooth that can be hard or something soft that can be hard? So, which can be hard? Is it something smooth or something soft that can be hard? And if we want to say which is something hard, and then we will say something smooth can be hard. So, well done. Smooth is correct. And now, which makes a sound? Which makes a sound? Is it laughing or smiling? If we laugh, do we make a sound or do we just smile and make a sound? So, which makes a sound? Is it to laugh or just to smile? So, now which makes a sound? Is it laughing or is it smiling? And if we were to answer the question which makes a smile, a sound, right? We will definitely say laughing makes a sound. Because if you smile, it's like you are just like lifting your face, right? But with laughing, it's like an outburst. Yeah. So which is larger, like bigger? Is it a snack that is larger or a meal is bigger? Which one is larger? Is it a snack or a meal that you're going to eat is larger? And if we were to say which one is larger, we'll say a real meal, right? Is larger. All right. And then which is thinner? Which is thinner? So well done, a meal is correct. So which one is thinner? Is it a thread or a string? All right. So now we need to say which one is thinner, right? Which one is thinner? Is it a thread or is it a string that is thinner? A thread or a so we must say which one is thinner. Remember a thread, right? It's like when you have your needle and thread and you're about to sew something. So if we say which one is thinner, let's just go with a thread. And a thread is thinner, right? A thread is thinner. So well done. A thread is thinner. Which is bigger? Is it your head that is bigger or your face is bigger? So we need to say which one is bigger. Is it our head that is bigger or your face that is bigger? So which one is bigger? Do we think our head is bigger or do we think our face is bigger? And if we were to say which one is bigger, we'll say that our head is bigger. And that is correct, right? Because our head is bigger or larger. Now we need to say which one is larger. Is it something big or something huge? Which one is larger? If I say something big or if I say something huge? All right. And once again, which is larger? Which one is bigger? Is it something big or something huge that is bigger? So now we need to say which one is larger. Is it something big or something huge? And of course, if we look at the word huge, then huge is, of course, something bigger. So we need to say which one is larger. If I say something is larger, is it something that is just big or is it something big or something huge? So, which is larger, we can say that something huge is louder. Something huge. And that is correct. So well done, all of you. And if we ask what is something shorter, right? Is it a note or is it a letter? Something that is very short. All right. So if we want something shorter, we can maybe say a little note is shorter. And it's correct. A note is shorter than an actual letter that is being sent. So we need to say which one is hard. Is it trying or struggling, which is hard? Is it the fact that you are trying that makes it hard, or the fact that you are struggling that makes it hard for you? So which one is hard? So which is harder? Is it trying that is harder, or the fact that you are struggling that is harder? So trying is that harder, or struggling is harder? And something that is quite hard is actually struggling other than just trying. So struggling is very, very hard. And now we're going to positive and negative connotation. And we said connotation is the feeling or idea that goes along with a word or it goes along with a phrase. And some words are close in meaning, but they have different connotations. So it can either be a positive connotation or a negative connotation. For example, think about the words eager and impatient. All right. So we said when it comes to connotations, right? We have negative connotations and we have positive connotations. Of course, positive connotations means it's something good, it's compliments, it's all of the nice things, right? Whereas negative, it is the opposite. All right. So we're going to, it says, even when it comes to connotation, right? There are different words with different meanings, but some of the words they mean the same thing, but they are slightly different. All right. So we said that when it comes to eager and impatient, eager is a positive connotation because you are happy and excited, whereas impatient is not so nice. And we said when it comes to impatient, right, that has a negative connotation because it can be very pushy and it can be very demanding. Now let's go to our test on connotation, whether it's positive or negative. So we now need to say which phrase has more negative connotations. So which do you think has more of a negative connotation? A beast or an animal? So if they're talking about a beast, do you think it is associated with something nice compared to just an animal? So if we look at the phrase that has more of a negative connotation, we can say it is a beast, right? Because usually we associate a beast with ugliness, we associate a beast with you're going to get hurt, right? So if we look at the connotation, we say a beast is a negative connotation. And that is correct. So we need to also say which phrase has a more negative connotation. Which phrase has a more negative connotation? Or to startle someone. So one of the words that have negative connotation, something that is not nice, either to surprise someone or to startle someone. It's like giving them a fright. And yes, to startle someone, that's correct, has a negative connotation because if you're surprising someone, then somebody's going to be smiling at you and they're like, no, right? But if you're going to startle and give somebody like, a fright, then that is a negative connotation. And then, which phrase has a more negative connotation? Is it to frown at someone or to scowl at someone? So to frown or to scowl at someone. And if we look at the words, right, frown and scowl. So all I know is that both of these two words, frown and scowl, has is got to do with facial expressions or facials, basically. And if we were to say which one is either a negative connotation, whether it is frown or scowl, because remember we said both has to do with facial expressions. And we said that either when you scowl, right? The word scowl is like a hostile look directed at someone, right? It is the wrinkling of brows or face in frowning and the expression of displeasure or discontent, right? Or you can be very angry. But then also on the other hand, if we look at the word frown is basically just pulling your face in disappointment, which means that the phrase with a more negative connotation would be to scowl at someone. And scowl is the same. Last one. Which phrase has a more positive connotation? Is it having a small house or having a cozy house? So something that has a positive connotation would be a cozy house, right? Instead of either a small or big house. So well done. All right. So we spoke about shades of meaning and we described the differences between related words, right? So you'll find words, especially if you guys are cousins or sisters or brothers, depending, right? During the course of the lesson or the term, then, you know, there are different, let's say, shades of meaning. There's different words, right, that maybe mean similar things, but sometimes the meanings are totally different. So we call that shades of meaning. Also, we have positive and negative connotations where the words might seem like they are the same, but one can be very positive and the other one can be very negative. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on shades of meaning. Thank you for joining the class. Until next time, goodbye.